So the Biden economy happens to be glorious. This is just some crazy gaslighting we have going on here. Apparently, I guess a couple weeks ago, the Biden administration got all these news reporters into a secret meeting and said, "Hey, we got to improve the coverage here." And as we all know, the media it's highly biased to one political spectrum. I guess they obliged, and there's been this is the Newsweek delivering on their promise of how talking up Biden, how great the economy is. Not everybody was complying. I think the New York Times started criticizing, by the Biden administration. Well, it just happens to be. I know that they're definitely on the left. It's not like they have any kind of conservative viewpoints. It's just there's infighting within the Democratic Party. Some people want Biden out, and somebody else put in. So basically all the news media is very left. And if anybody's criticizing Biden, they don't want, they're just trying to shoot him on the foot so he won't run again. And you have another Democrat taking his place. Because I think their fears are true that if they run Biden again, he's not going to make it. Now, this is just some crazy gaslighting here. This is pure political spin. It is labeled as an opinion piece, but still. The author is Forma Horup, award-winning journalist, which is, I don't know, pretty crazy. To think that Biden is he regularly shits his pants. He's probably demented. He doesn't know where he is, and somehow he had some economic Midas touch. It's hard to believe. The real, not to be partisan here at all, but this is a bipartisan issue. The real issue with America is slowing economic growth. And why do we have that? Because of debt. Basically, we're turning into Japan. Japan had lost decades shit economic growth because they keep borrowing money to stimulate the economy, but there's no magic trick. The more you do it, the less it works. It's about M2 money supply. It's about the velocity of money. Europe is a little better, but worse than U.S. And U.S. is going down that same route. More and more indebtedness, and more borrowing by the government. Them spending it, trying to stimulate, but it has a worse and worse effect. And just because the stock market is going up doesn't mean, just because the money supply is inflated, the stock market is going up, asset prices are going up, doesn't signify a very healthy economy. Right now the interest rate is so low. Of course, it's obvious that if you have the interest rate so low at like 2%, of course that's how how do you become wealthy? Well, you borrow 2% and buy real estate or buy assets that they go up at 8%, and you just make the spread. But does that make a healthy economy? Definitely not. I'm kind of guilty of that too. I'm trying to buy as much real estate as possible in order to better my financial situation. Borrow money at 3 or 4% and buy real estate rents are going to be going up at 10%. Things are going to, the actual building's going to be going up at 10%. But that makes me better off? But does that make the overall country better off? No, not adding much value here, unfortunately. If Joe Biden takes office, there's a depression like the likes which you've never seen, Donald Trump. You know that, right? Also, your 401k is surely going to go to hell, as the previous guy predicted. On the contrary, stocks in the S&P 500 are up 26% as the first year of Biden's presidency about to end. Which is, first of all, this author is so ingenuous. So disingenuous. Such bullshit. Yes, while it is true numbers, of course, if you pull the plug on forcefully shut down the economy, pull the plug on all the economic activity, and then plug it back in again, of course you're going to get growth from the time, if you measure it from the time that you restarted the economy. But that's you're lacking context here. Well, how is that praiseworthy? Okay, you let the economy resume again. And look at all the growth. Well, from what point? From zero? From almost zero? How is that? The U.S. financial markets are outperforming the world by the biggest margin in the 21st century. That's how Bloomberg put it. The U.S. gross domestic product is expected to have grown extraordinary 5.6% this year, according to economists, and that's after adjusting for inflation. Well, the inflation figure by the government is complete bullshit. It's supposed to be at 5.8%, but that's because of owner equivalent rent. If you actually put in real rent, because real rent's been going up 10 to 15%, and put in real energy and all this other stuff, inflation is way higher. And any real economist worth their salt, not an idiot propagandist as this person, would tell you that if you take away all the government stimulus that the government piped into the economy, there's actually no growth. It's all fake. This is all just inflation. This is all just government borrowing money, printing money, and infusing into the economy, which is not real growth, not real production. Unemployment rate is down to 4.2%. Retail sales in recent Christmas shopping season rose 8% from the same period, the biggest gain in 17 years. Bloomberg summed it up. America's economy improved more in Joe Biden's first 12 months than any president during the past 50 years. He's incredible. He's an incredible dementia patient that shits his pants. But he's so smart. He has such smart economic policy that, I don't know, most of it just got killed. The Build Back Better just got killed. The one policy, the infrastructure thing that he passed, this did such wonders for the economy. Like, yeah, right. And so, how do we explain Biden's lackluster approval ratings? Weirdly depressed by discounted on how he's managing the economy. The reason include distorted media coverage of the economy. Why is the media coverage distorted? I mean, you'd think that a lot of, if anything, is distorted to paint a rosy picture. If anything is distorted to make him look better, because most of the news outlets are on the left. So if they ever actually do report some negative shit about the economy, well, it's begrudgingly. If anything, it's distorted the complete other way. And still, some people are suffering under this inflation. I mean, yes, if you have stocks, if you have real estate, yeah, and you have quote unquote good debt, like real estate debt, then yeah, you know what I mean, your outlook is looking better and better. But if you're on fixed income, if you're just a person that like loves their job and doesn't want to threaten to quit their job, well, you know, your salaries, your buying power, your salary is going down. A Republican opposition that want to give Democrats credit, and Democrats who don't want to give themselves credit. Oh yeah, the economy is doing so great, everything's so peachy. It just, the Democrats are just, you know, they're too nice, they're too shy, too timid. Now, as always, there's economic concerns. Inflation has been cutting into the good news of fattening paychecks for American workers. What do you mean cutting in? It's completely overtaking. The inflation is rising way faster than the actual quote-unquote fattening paychecks. However, the bubbly retail numbers point consumers with the means to spend and happy to do it. The consumer credit grew a record 27% in Biden's first year, reflects the public confidence about the future. The supply chain blockages seem to be easing, as witnessed in the fake news and bare store shelves in this opening season. Well, there hasn't been empty store shelves per se, but let's say if I'm rehabbing a house right now, good luck getting windows or doors. There's a lot of stuff. Or you're getting IKEA shelves. There's or any kind of appliances, especially like the low end. If there's a super expensive appliances that people don't really buy, but at the low end, crazy waiting lists for everything. The difficulty in getting parts and products shipped from Asia has raised interest in bringing manufacturing back to the country, and that's a good thing. The biggest driver of inflation, oil prices. Oh, hey, who caused high oil prices? Who shut down pipelines? I think his name starts with a B. Much needed relief for tight markets on the way, according to International Energy Agency. The simple reasons rising oil production. helping matters was Biden plan release of 50 million barrels. I heard that wasn't shit. That's just like a drop in the bucket. So they didn't do shit. Why Democrats don't shout Hosannas from basically strong economy has long been a mystery. One explanation that some of the loudest voices in the party, mainly on the left, engage in a culture of complaint. These leftists obsessed angrily on what isn't being done for the poor and ignore what is. I think the AOC, right? The squad. Here's a shot at the squad here. We've been hollering at the West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin for blocking passage of the current Build Back Better plan, even though it is they who screwed it up. All hope is not lost, though. Democrats can trim their overweight wish list and thus avoiding such cheesy tricks as financing the child tax credit for just 1 year. Hey. But if they didn't do that, the cost would be astronomical. So they had to do that. They had to hide the cost by financing for 1 year. Otherwise, the spending would be like 10 trillion. The program most worth saving are universal preschool, strengthening the Affordable Care Act, and fighting climate change. What the fuck do they mean strengthening Affordable Care Act? You mean giving more subsidies so hospitals just get more money and prices go up? These people just never learn a lesson. If you want the healthcare to be more affordable, you gotta turn down the Affordable Care Act, get rid of it. But if not get rid of it, just got cut subsidies, so people have to pay more and more out of pocket. Therefore, that would force the actual healthcare providers to lower prices. Obviously, a plan costing 1.8 trillion. A number Manchin has reportedly said he would consider would still be a bold under any previous definition of the word. Stock market gains do benefit the better off, but lots of average people have some skin in the game. Sweden has more billionaires per capita than do we, while maintaining a dream of social safety net. Yeah, but Sweden has extremely high tax rates for everybody, even the poor and the middle class. So the middle class pays what, like 50% in taxes, income taxes, while 60% of Americans don't. So she's saying that, hey, we're going to expand the scope of the government and introduce a fatter safety net. But hey, you deadbeats who don't paying your taxes, start paying taxes. Of course not. She would never put in that detail explicitly. It's all bullshit here. There's nothing wrong with prosperity. Happy days are here again was the campaign song for Franklin Roosevelt just before he launched the New Deal. No. Biden is going to be lame ducked. He's crippled, which is kind of a good thing, because if you want the government spending to go down, well, you want a lame duck Democrat, because if the Republicans are in charge, all three branches, then spending goes up, and that's counterproductive.